You open your eyes. It's not your ceiling above you. It's hot, wet air pressing down on your skin, and the light is wrong. Too green, too thick. Welcome to the Jurassic, 150 million years ago. You have no weapons, no phone, and no way home. The only question that matters now is how long you can survive. The air here is suffocating, humid and dense, packed with nearly a third more oxygen than the world you came from. Within minutes, your head is spinning. A dragonfly the size of your hand lands on the bark beside you, its compound eyes catching the light like shattered glass. You're staring at it when the ground disappears from under your feet, and you're tumbling down a slope. At the bottom, a river blocks your path, 15 meters wide, the water a murky gray-green. Something is moving beneath the surface, a school of armored fish nearly 20 centimeters long, scales like medieval plating. You reach down for a drink of water. The surface explodes. A mouthful of teeth erupts from below and swallows half the school in a single strike. You scramble backward. The creature sinks slowly beneath the surface. The ripples take a long time to fade. In a wide clearing, a herd of enormous long-necked dinosaurs is feeding on the treetops. You duck behind a cycad, certain you're hidden. You are wrong. The ground begins to pulse with a slow, deliberate rhythm. Something massive is walking directly toward you, and every footstep sends a tremor through the earth. You hold your breath as a foot the size of a dinner table swings over your head and continues past. Overhead, a colony of small flying creatures is fighting over nesting space. You assume the sky is the safe direction to look. You are wrong again. A much larger shape glides into view and snatches one of the smaller creatures out of the air mid-flight. You keep moving. A swamp opens up ahead, its surface choked with green algae, a scatter of what look like floating logs. You step closer. One of the logs opens an eye. You back away slowly. It doesn't move. It simply watches you go with one cold, unblinking eye. You're about to sit down to rest when a wall of footsteps thunders up behind you. A herd of small, fast creatures bursts past, scattering like a flock of startled birds. You don't know what they're running from, but fear is contagious, and your legs are already moving before your brain catches up. You glance back. The brush explodes open, and something large is coming through it. 6 meters long, powerful hind legs, a mouth lined with serrated teeth, moving faster than you by a wide margin. You run until your lungs feel like they're tearing. A jumble of broken rock appears ahead, and you scramble up it on hands and feet. Behind you, a scream cuts off mid-note. The sound of bone breaking is unmistakable. You wedge yourself into a crack in the rock, pressing your back against cold stone, holding your breath. The predator's breathing is audible just meters away. A claw rakes the edge of the crevice once, twice, then gives up, dragging its kill away. You stay hidden until evening, certain the worst is over. You're wrong about that, too. Nightfall in the Jurassic is its own kind of test. Temperatures can swing more than 20 degrees between day and night, and you're shivering within the hour. You need shelter. A dark opening in a hillside catches your eye, and you crawl inside. In the middle of the night, you're jolted awake by a deep, rhythmic pounding. The ground itself is shaking. Small stones rattle loose from the cave ceiling. You press your eye to a narrow gap at the entrance. By moonlight, something immense is passing, weighing as much as a dozen elephants combined, each footfall landing like a slow, massive drumbeat. You fall asleep somewhere between terror and exhaustion. At dawn, you leave the cave and notice a thin column of pale vapor rising from a distant peak. It isn't ordinary smoke, it's steam, rising in a straight, deliberate column, a volcano preparing to erupt. Jurassic eruptions often arrive with earthquakes and tsunamis close behind. You need to move, and you need to move fast toward the coast. You run along the shoreline, crossing a stretch of sand covered in strange tracks. Rounding an outcrop of rock, you stop dead. Ahead, a pack of small creatures is swarming a freshly hatched sea turtle, moving with the speed of something far more dangerous than their size suggests. Within minutes, there's nothing left. You keep moving, but the wind has shifted. You look back. The volcano has begun venting black smoke into the sky, and daylight is dimming fast. You push yourself harder, sprinting toward the water's edge, where a massive fallen tree trunk, knocked down by some earlier storm, lies half in the surf. It's your only option. You wade in, wrap your arms around it, and look back toward land one last time. The eruption breaks. Orange lava pours down the slope. The forest catches fire. Smoke blots out half the sky. Creatures scatter in every direction, but most of them have nowhere left to run. You drift through the night and into the following day, carried by the current to an unfamiliar bay. It's only then that you finally understand what the Jurassic actually is. It isn't a theme park that can be tamed and fenced. It's a brutal, vast world that was never built with you in mind. You are not a visitor here, and you are certainly not a conqueror. You are a fragile accident, something that could be erased at any moment without the world noticing. You lie on the sand and watch volcanic ash paint the upper sky in colors that shouldn't exist together, red and violet bleeding into one another, beautiful in a way that feels almost wrong. And it hits you. You're alive to witness this, not because you were destined to be. You survived because you were lucky, because you stayed careful, and because somewhere along the way, you learned to be afraid of the right things. 3 weeks later, a passing fishing boat pulls you out of the water. The crew can't understand a word you're saying. You watch the island shrink behind you and say nothing more, because you know exactly what just happened to you. You lived through something that ended 150 million years ago, and the only thing you brought back with you is a completely different understanding of time and of how fragile a single life really is. Sitting on that boat, breathing modern air, looking up at a familiar blue sky, you realize that this simply being here at all is the miracle.